Right, how's it going everyone? It's been a while. Nonetheless, I'm back and I wanted to share something that happened a few weeks back. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about it, At that moment, it felt like a huge thing to me, but now the feelings have subsided and I think there's some lesson to be learned from this. So, I'll tell you what the situation was. A few weeks back, I was returning home from my office, and while returning, there was this kind of sharp turn, and I was in my own lane and on my motorbike, and there was this car with four dudes around my age, 2021, and the car seemed kind of new. They took the turn a bit too wide, a bit too fast, and they came into my lane and almost hit me, but that was not it. So while the car came into my lane, we were at a dead stop on my lane, and then the audacity of the driver rolled his window down and then he screamed at me. Right from your own lane or something, I don't know. But yeah, basically, his whole premise was,
"Why are you in my lane?"
Threw a few curse words at me, which really got me riled up. I was really mad. I had a fever, I was not feeling too good. I had a headache. And I basically said, I'm in my lane. You came into my lane after taking the turn too wide. The fuck's wrong with you? And basically the guy kind of mumbled something and then he bolted out of there, so I couldn't do much except, I was looking back at him. I stood there on my motorbike. I was looking back at him, and then the guy just left. He was looking at me through the rearview mirror, and then I memorized his number. Anywho, I came home that day, and I was really pissed. I was really pissed. I came home, I put up an Instagram story. I memorized the car's number, so I put it up, and then I was like, this is the car number. The color was this is the model of the car, last seen location around this area. If anyone has any sort of information on the car, I was ready to give like 5k NPR. I was like really pissed. And the reason I was pissed was, why did I not go after them? I should have gone after them, and maybe a fight would have ensued, whatever. But the point being, I should have gone after them. That was the only thing on my mind. And actually, funnily enough, one of my friends knew who the car might have belonged to. Whoever was driving the car, obviously dad's car, he was taking out for a ride. It was kind of a new car. So seeing that, I was like genuinely pissed. Here I am working my ass off, I earned my own motorbike, and there's this guy on his daddy's money flexing his car. If I'd broken the rule and if I was on his lane, maybe I wouldn't have been so mad, because at that point it would have been my fault, but I was in the right. So my friend kind of knew about this guy, but he was like, oh, but he's not that type of guy. I don't know why he did this, whatever. But I got this information like 3 or 4 hours after I put up the story. And in those 3 or 4 hours, I thought about it for a while. I was so pissed that, I was taking that anger out on my family, which I realized in that moment. And I just asked my family, I need to be left alone because I'm like really pissed. And they did. Well, the more I thought about it, the more I realized I was not really mad at the driver, because I didn't really care what he thought about me, and I really didn't care that he thought I was in the wrong and that, he was completely right. I really didn't care about that. But I realized after a while that the thing that I was really mad at was, there was this question that was ringing in my head over and over again. And the question was, are you a coward? Because, it's simple. Those guys kind of challenged me, and then I didn't really go after them. I didn't really try to prove myself or whatever. And yeah, I was kind of mad about that. But I sat there and I thought about it, and I came to 2 conclusions. First one being, my family relies on me. So suppose I went after them, right? I went after them, a fight ensued, then guess what? It was going to be costly, police were going to be involved, I was probably going to be at the police station, worst, I would be in jail. Second scenario, maybe they would have said sorry and we would have gone back home, but that was highly unlikely because my anger, it's either 0 or 100, it's like flicking a switch. So, I was not gonna sit there and be like, oh bro, why'd you scream? No, it was hands, alright? Either way, throwing hands and police getting involved was the most probable scenario. And the reason I didn't go after them was inherently because, I had a family I had to come back to, because my family relies on me financially as well as other responsibilities, being the only son in my family. I think the biggest win is I came home safely and, I was there for my family. I think that is the big win first, right? So that was one way I rationalized it, and that kind of cooled things off for a while. But still, the question, are you a coward, was, still ringing in my brain. And then I really thought about it, really thought about it. I just thought about it in a really autistic way. So think about cowards. Cowards run away. Cowards, when something is being taken away from them, they just let it happen. I think that is what cowardice is. To run away, or when something is being taken away from you, just, voluntarily give it away, basically. I think that is what cowardice is, and I think that is what sums up cowardice at its core. If I was in their position, what would I have done? So if I was in their position and I was confronting someone who was in the wrong lane, almost hit me, then guess what? If I was gonna scream at them, there's a very, very good chance that, I would be ready to throw hands if it came down to that. I'm just not gonna act aggressive towards someone unless I can really back it up physically, right? So those dudes, what they did was, they screamed at me, threw a few curse words, then they ran away. The act of running away, to me, I think that is the act of cowardice. While they ran away, I was there and I stood my ground. So I was there, I was just on my motorbike at a dead stop, and I stood my ground basically. I think at one point I was just praying God, I was like, God, please, I hope these dudes get out their car. Because they were like what, maybe like 5'7", 5'8", skinny guys. What could they have done? Nothing. Plus I had a helmet on, so more protection. I was just ready to throw hand. They first aggressively charged at me with their words, and then they couldn't back it up because I stood my ground. Then I talked to them face to face, and then they ran away. So I think that to me was an act of cowardice. I think that answered the question in my mind. They weren't really taking away anything from me. If they were taking something from me and then I just let them run away with it, I think that would have been an act of cowardice. But no, I know who I am. I know I was in the right. And second of all, if they want to be retards, I just don't care, They're the retards. Driving in the opposite lane and then screaming at the other person, just retards, man, whatever. And I kind of cooled off after that. So to answer that question in my head, are you a coward? I guess not. But I think my brain is still asking the wrong question. I don't think in that situation it really mattered whether or not I was a coward. Because nothing was really being taken away from me, and there was no courage to be shown there, and nothing was gonna come out of that courage either. Retards are gonna be retards, and I should have ideally not been affected by that. But I was affected. Now I'm pissed that I was affected. So now I'm gonna have to do a bit more thinking, and I think this is also something that you learn. And if a similar situation happened, then the magnitude of emotion that I would have displayed before will now be much lower, I suppose. So yes, that is how I came to terms with it. Plus, just chasing after them and trying to prove something to them isn't really sensible. What was I gonna get out of it? A little bit of ego boost? I really don't have to prove anything to myself by beating up skinny dudes. And maybe I should humble myself, maybe I would have gone hurt. Who knows? And if I had gone hurt, then that would be worse. If I would have been hurt, which I'm totally capable of being hurt, because there are people who are bigger and stronger than me, then guess what? It was me and my family getting the hit, not those dudes. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Yes, I plan on making many more videos. I think one of the reasons why I kind of stopped making videos or I was so inconsistent with it was because I was questioning myself and I was questioning my authority. I was asking myself basically, who am I to be telling people what I should do where I'm not really at the position a lot of people would idealize me. But then again, I thought about it and I was like, well, I don't have to tell people what to do. I can tell people what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling at the moment, and what I'm doing. So yes, I do plan on making more videos, but it's not set in stone. That's all. So yes, I hope you guys found this video helpful in some regard. If you did, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you whenever I see you. Take care.